Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be filming part 3 of my huge book haul series that I've been uploading over the past couple of months. I've got about 15 books I'm going to go over with you. These books are kind of from about mid-November until early January. Just over like kind of a month and a half of book collecting. Quite a few here, but bearing in mind there was Christmas in the middle there, although this is part 3 in a book haul series, so I can't really be disclaiming my book buying habits, but I'm really like slowing down at the moment, so there'll definitely be a 4th video in this series, and then probably by that point a 5th, and then we won't have one for a while. But I'm aiming to post these kind of monthly. If you haven't seen the previous 2 videos in this series, don't worry, there's no like need to watch the previous ones, but if you do want to, I'll make sure they're both linked down below, link them on the screen up here, like throughout the video as we go, if you are wanting to like queue them up and watch them after this, if you're in the mood to binge some book hauls. So I've got some lovely books to mention, and I'm very excited to film this video for you guys, so let's just get into it. If you can hear my voice, I am still slightly sick. I got hit with like 3 different like sicknesses at the same time, and it's just been rough, which is why I didn't post any videos last week. I've got like a job at the moment, so I'm a bit busy. I'm really determined to like dedicate myself and stick to uploading twice weekly, which if you're new to the channel, that is Wednesdays and Saturdays. Yes, I thought I just made that up. So the first book I have to mention is one that I'm in the middle of, and I am absolutely loving it, but this is not a review, it's a book haul. This is Monkey Diaries 1957 to 1982 by Jane Birkin. So this is basically Jane Birkin's diaries between these 2 years. There is actually a sequel to this which follows on from 1982. The majority of her diary entries were written in French, so these have been translated from the French to English, and they haven't yet translated the 2nd volume of diary entries, which I'm just really hoping that happens because I'm enjoying this so much. Jane Birkin was what am I talking about? Is a singer and a movie star. She was an actress in French and English cinema. She was in a relationship with Serge Gainsbourg, a huge like French musician and actor in his own right. Their relationship was like very iconic, and that is like a point of interest in itself, but Jane herself is really where it's at in terms of my interest. Her sense of style and fashion and everything like that, and also just like what she kind of embodies, this kind of linkage kind of between English and French culture. Really adore her. And at the time I was working in the non-fiction department of the bookstore. I would see this book every single day at work, and so I just ended up buying it for myself one day. It's honestly been so much more than I thought it would be. It's so raw and vulnerable. She really doesn't stray away from any details, and it just makes for a really kind of emotional, funny, enjoyable read, and it really just felt like you get to know her, and I've become kind of very close to her through these works. Anyway, this is not a review. I bought this myself. I'm going through it so slowly. I've still got like 100 pages left because I'm like adoring every second, and I'm devastated about the fact that we haven't had the 2nd book translated yet. So that's this. I would recommend it if you have any interest in her, or if you're just interested in kind of like autobiographies or anything like that. It makes life a lot easier to understand that other people are also suffering. That sounds kind of morbid, but like to see that other people's lives are as kind of complicated and messy as your own, including people who seem glamorous and lovely from the outside, which she remains so, but she also is a human being, which I really love to be able to see. Next up we have another kind of non-fiction book, and this is an autobiography. This was a gift from my love Abby, and this is Surrender 40 Songs One Story by Bono. So this is Bono from U2's autobiography. It basically goes through 40 U2 songs. He writes kind of a chapter that's like related to each or something like that, I'm not sure. I love U2, and I love kind of like what I assume this story is going to touch on, which is kind of just like music and faith and family and life. Again, just hopefully is going to give me more of an insight into another human being, which I really love. What I found with Jane Birkin, one is I was less obsessed with the stuff that's on her career and more about the stuff of her just being like a human being, and I'm hoping that there shall be a decent amount of that in this, because just from like who Bono is as a person, I'm very excited. I love this gorgeous hardcover. It's got photos in the middle, and it's also this stunning yellow under the dust jacket, and I've recently picked up the audiobook for this book actually, so that I can hopefully listen to that as I'm reading along, because Bono himself does narrate it, and it also has the U2 songs as well as some other random songs like making up the soundtrack like in the background as he's speaking, which I think is going to be amazing. So I'm excited to get to this. Hopefully in March. We shall see what I decide. Like I said, I was working in the bookstore. At the end of my time there I was given a book voucher, and so I picked up 5 books. I still have a little bit of money left over, so very generous with this voucher, and some of it was my own money, but I still got a discount and whatever. It was lovely to be able to kind of run free in a bookstore and just pick out whatever I wanted. So the first book I have here is Shoko Smile by Choi eunyoung. So this is a work of Korean translated fiction, several short stories. I've heard amazing things about this, but I don't actually know the specifics of it. And this was huge in Korea, but it's also been a major success over here as well. This cover is fantastic. I love the geometric shapes and the colours and everything. I've wanted this book for about 2 years now, so I'm glad to have finally picked it up, and yeah, I'll let you know what I think of it. Explores the joys and heartbreaks of human relationships as they blossom and wither, refraining from sensationalising historical events, keeping her stories firmly grounded in the realities of her characters through sparse and understated prose. I'm really hyped. Then I picked up a couple more pieces of translated fiction, but these ones are Japanese. The first one is Convenience Store Woman by sayaka murata. So this was a book that I actually read this month, so you're going to be seeing it in the next video where I wrap it up. This was a lovely little story. It's about a woman who works in a convenience store. How old is she? 36 years old. And she is very content in this job, but it's about how other people, like her friends and her family, have kind of opposing views about what you should be doing in life in terms of like getting a good career and settling down with a rich husband and having a family and everything like that, which our main character is not interested in. I think it's a very important little book. It kind of reads like a fable. I was thankful to again have picked it up. This gorgeous purple cover, which is a new release. And then I got Heaven by Mieko Kawakami. I'm not sure how to pronounce the first name. This again is a bestseller and I've heard so many good things about it. The author also wrote Breasts and Eggs, which was massive a couple of years ago. But yeah, this is about two people, kids who attend school together, and they kind of bond over the fact that they're both being bullied and they're kind of outcasts in their kind of school society. It's meant to be absolutely heartbreaking, but a really beautiful story and really wonderfully written. I'm excited about this, and I think it should just be like a really good character study and also kind of a study of society and like culture within a school. Next up, a different note, I've got The Magical Thinking by Joan Didion. This is another piece of non-fiction. I read my first Joan Didion last year. It was the White Album and I really enjoyed it. It was an essay collection, so I connected with some essays more than others, but overall I thought it was great, and some of her writing was really stunning actually. But the thing that I felt was missing from that was kind of a more personal touch, and I feel like we're going to get that more in this one because it follows a year of Joan's personal life where her husband and her daughter both got very unwell. Your daughter got sick while she was on life support. The father, or Joan's husband, had a fatal coronary, and Joan's husband died, but her daughter did recover eventually. This book is just documenting that absolutely kind of tumultuous time within her life, the nightmare of that year. So again, gotta be heavy and sad. I think it's gonna be really beautifully written. This is the book where the amazing quote, "A single person is missing for you and the whole world is empty," comes from. It's one of my favourite ever quotes, so I'm excited to see that in this as well. And then lastly, from the bookstore, I bought Ovid's Metamorphoses. This is a completely different note. This is basically an epic poem and it covers the remaining of the mythological tales, which I'm really excited to see. One of the stories I included in this is about Cupid and Psyche, who are my two favourite kind of characters within mythology, and I think this is going to be wonderful. I'm so excited. I've seen so many passages from it and I've always wanted to pick it up. Plus it has this stunning Bernini sculpture on the front, a penguin black spine classic. Right, next I'm going to move on to books that I received for Christmas. So if you see my Christmas haul, you would already be familiar with these. So I'm going to kind of like run through them a little bit so as not to bore you. Firstly, we have a gift I got from my younger brother, and that was this gorgeous folio edition of Game of Thrones, so the first book in the Game of Thrones series. This is absolutely stunning. The book is split up into 2 volumes and then it includes a map as well. It's in this beautiful slipcase. I'm gonna get one of the books out just so that you can see. You can look at what I got for Christmas video if you want to see these in more detail because there's so much to show you. But yeah, this is the cover of one of the volumes within this collection, and then it has these stunning end papers. It's illustrated throughout with these amazing full color illustrations. The map is spectacular. Again, you'll have to look at the what I've got for Christmas video to check that one out because it was kind of hard to show you in that. I don't want to really get it out and risk damaging it again. A stunning gift. I was just in awe of it when I received it, and I'm excited to read these books finally because I have watched the first few series of the show. From my granny and my uncle, I received Christian non-fiction, and that is Experiencing the Presence of God by A.W. Tozer. Tozer was a fantastic writer, so I think this is going to be very insightful and valuable for me. The book I asked for Christmas was Gleanings by Neal. This is a short story collection following the Arc of the Scythe series. It's a trilogy. The second book is one of my favourite books ever. I'm just obsessed. And so when I found out there was more material within that world, I was really excited to pick it up. I need to read the third book in the trilogy first, and then I will get to this ASAP. I'm really excited to see more about this world because it is fascinating. I really recommend the first book, Sly, if you feel like reading a new series and you want something kind of fresh and unique. My mum bought me a copy of Life and Fate by Vasily Grossman. This beautiful vintage classics edition of a Russian classic. So Vintage do this entire collection of Russian classics in these stunning editions. They're just honestly breathtaking. I actually had never heard about this book, and I don't think I would have known about it had it not been within this collection. Over 800 pages, I believe, yes. But yeah, those are all the books you can get in this edition, and they're just all gorgeous. I've got 4 of them so far, but I'd love to get the other 2. My mum also bought me a signed copy of Babel by Kuang, which I've heard absolutely fantastic things about. I'm really excited to see what I think. This is a dark academia. It was kind of like the book of 2021. Oh my goodness, we're in 2023. Of 2022. This is a signed copy, which is amazing. Super cool. It is just a lot. I really have to kind of like apply myself to it when I go to read it. So I think I'm going to be reading this hopefully around autumn time this year. My mum also put in a pre-order for me. This is a Christmas gift, but it didn't release until January 3rd, and that is The Stolen Heir by Holly Black, another book that I've already read, as you can see through my tabs. I did a full spoiler-free reading vlog on this book. If you're interested, I'll have it linked. I also mentioned it in my wrap-up for January, if you want to hear my thoughts on this. Loved it, 4 stars. This is the first book in a continuation series following Cruel Prince series, or the Folk of the Year series. Yeah, if you loved the first one, then I'm sure you'll enjoy this one too. This is a little different from my book haul series, but I've decided I'm going to start mentioning all of the books I bought in Kindle, because I think that it's important to promote like reading from the library and like different forms of reading, such as audiobooks and ebooks, because they really do get neglected because of how lovely it is to be able to show you guys a cover of something. It's always wonderful to have bought the physical book, but sometimes it's just better to buy things on the Kindle. The very first book I bought for myself was Gentlemen Prefer Blondes by Anita. So this book I have actually already read. I also mentioned it in my January wrap-up, but it's basically the book that inspired, well, it's kind of like a novella that inspired the film, which features Jane Russell and Marilyn Monroe. So I'm sure lots of people are familiar with the film, but not many people know that it's based on the book. The book is very similar. There are slight things that they changed. The book covered more events. The film only portrayed a couple of them, but on the whole, if you love the film, I'm sure you enjoy the book. I decided to go on my Kindle because it was very cheap, and I'd heard great things about it. Like I said, you can check out the wrap-up if you want to hear more. And the very final book we have to mention this haul is another physical one, and that is My Body by Emily Ratajkowski. Emily Murata on Instagram. I bought this book on Depop because I really wanted the hardcover, which is now out of print. This is for the most ridiculously fickle reason, and it's because the paperback has a purple cover and I just detest it. So I decided to get the hardcover. I just think it's a really beautiful looking book, and amazingly I found a signed copy. So this, I think, was a Waterstones exclusive or something along those lines. So it has a book plate in it which is signed by the author. This is an essay collection, and it's all about personal relationship with her body and also the world's view of her body, because she's kind of known for her appearance, judged on her looks. Her worth, according to other people, is all consumed by her body and how she looks. This has had incredible reviews, and I'm really excited to see what I think about it. And on that note, I believe those are the 15, I don't know how many books are in this haul, books that I'm going to mention for now, and then I'll return in a month to go through the next 15, and then the next 15, and the next 15. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up so I know that you did. We're super close to 1.5k, which is just insane to me, because at the beginning of the year I had 1.4. I've been stuck on 1.4 for like the longest time, and I've just had so many new people recently, and it's just been wonderful. If you would like to join the gang, please feel free to stick around by pressing subscribe. It's free and all that. But yeah, if you want to be the 1,500th person, that would be pretty cool. If you subscribe and you notice that you are that person, you could let me know and I'll message you. But also, if you just subscribe in general, then let me know, because I would love to send you love. Right, I'm gonna go because I'm rambling now. Thank you for watching. We had a lot of fun. I'll see you in my next video, which will be my February wrap up, and then I'll see you next week for my March TBR, and then I'm going to do my classics collection finally, because I did ask people what they wanted to see on Instagram. They said my classics collection. I'm just not in a well enough state to get all those out and go through all that yet, but I promise you it's coming and it's gonna be great. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you on Saturday for a new video. Bye.